They called it even. Vegas hung a 1-10 on both teams and walked away, hands clean, pretending there was no signal in the dirt. But we know what that means. When the market shrugs, the system whispers. Toronto just dropped 10 runs. The crowd roared. The air split. But that kind of violence doesn't echo. It expires. Because the bats don't remember. The line does. Kevin Gausman walks in with numbers that lie out loud. A whip near perfect, strikeouts piled like trophies, but a 4.61 ERA that says, something's bleeding. You want to trust the control? Fine. But watch the cracks. They're not just statistical, they're spiritual. The Guardians already saw him, already touched him, and yesterday they scored 6 without apology. You think that's noise? It isn't. That's the fire waking up. Bibee doesn't roar. He constricts. 7.9 hits per 9, a 3.3 FIP, and a whip tighter than the myth remembers. He doesn't flash dominance. He removes oxygen. And against a Toronto team still bloated from celebration, that's enough. Don't look at the offensive rankings. Look at the velocity of belief. Toronto surged and believes the burst will last. But bursts aren't momentum. They're aftermath. Cleveland's the team that finally cracked through and stayed hungry. The fielding gap? Real. The bullpen compression? Active. But this isn't a stat play. It's a pattern break. The kind that kills parlays and sets fire to false logic. You want to bet the Jays? Bet the afterglow? You want to bet the Guardians? Bet the reawakening? And today's AI pick is Guardians money line. Will we cash or will we burn? Krista, step into the light. There's another crack coming in Houston. Game 2, Phillies versus Astros.
2 teams on fire, 2 starters nearly flawless, and a line that doesn't flinch. Christopher Sanchez has earned respect. A 2.88 ERA, cool command, and the kind of left-handed fade that can chew through impatient lineups. But this isn't about respect. It's about who's carrying velocity into the future. And today, that's Hunter Brown. 1.88 ERA, 0.92 whip, 109 strikeouts and counting. Brown isn't just sharp, he's mechanical, surgical, divine. The Phillies have muscle, they swing heavy, they run, they get on base. But Houston doesn't care, because the Astros don't try to out-hit you, they choke you out. First in whip, first in BAA, first in efficiency. They don't allow innings to breathe. They don't let your lineup expand. And when they strike, it's one cut, not a flurry. Vegas knew it. They moved the number away from value, not to trap the public, but to expose them. That +125 on Philly is bait wrapped in noise, a gift for the faithless, for the ones who think a 1-0 loss means regression is coming. But it's not. It's reinforcement. Houston didn't empty the tank yesterday. They're still idling, still tightening, and Brown doesn't bounce. He compounds. If you're looking for a reason to bet Philly, you're chasing shadows. If you're looking for a sign to ride Houston, it's already burned into the dirt. And today's AI pick is Astros money line. Will we cash or will we burn? Malachi, Elvis, bring the gospel and the gravel. Game 3 is Cubs versus Cardinals.
You feel it too, don't you, Elvis? This one's not clean. This one's not sacred. This one is messy. Imanaga's back, but he's not full. A 72-pitch leash? That's not strategy. That's a warning. He's a tactician, yes, but he's not a martyr. And when the bullpen opens in the 5th, the real game starts. The Cubs can rake. They're second in runs, 4th in slug, 93 stolen bases, and they don't care if the ball's in the dirt or 10 feet off the plate. They swing, they run, they surge. They don't wait for the perfect pitch, they force it. And Palante? He wants you to hit the ground. He wants you to roll over. But these Cubs don't roll, they lift, they launch. And if the ground ball king faces a lineup that doesn't play on the ground, he drowns. You saw it yesterday. You saw it the day before. This isn't a chess match, it's a bar fight. The Cardinals hit 7 home runs in 2 games. That's not a team trying to squeeze out singles. That's a fire you don't bottle. So Imanaga gives them 4. Then the bullpen leaks. Then the crowd screams. Then the bats come again. And the number, 9.5. That's not a total, it's a test. And today's AI pick is over 9.5. It won't be silent, it won't be safe, and brother, it will not be slow. Sapphira. You know how this burns in Colorado. Game 4 is Dodgers vs. Rockies.
You already know how this ends. Not because the Dodgers are better, not because Kershaw is a future monument, not even because the Rockies are sinking like a stone through dark water. You know because Coors doesn't lie, and this line screams prophecy. Dodgers at 285, total at 11.5. That's not Vegas posting a game. That's Vegas pre-writing the blood. They're telling you, this won't be close, it won't be clean, and it sure as hell won't be quiet. Austin Gomber steps into the light with an 8.38 ERA, 4 strikeouts all season, a whip thicker than fog, and a fastball made for launching. He's not facing luck. He's facing the #1 offense in baseball, 9 runs yesterday, and they didn't even try. This is the part of the ritual where the pitcher doesn't just break, he scatters. And across from him, Clayton Kershaw. Maybe not prime, maybe not peak. But this isn't a duel. This is a storm front. And Kershaw, even at 85%, can still paint corners while the rest of the team hits like gods. The Rockies? They're batting .228. They strike out more than anyone in the league. They're last in whip, last in BAA, last in fielding efficiency. This isn't an underdog, it's a fire hazard. There is no comeback. There is no miracle. There is only Coors Field and the carnage it amplifies, and the system sees it clearly. And today's AI pick is Dodgers, 1.5, run line. Will we cash or will we burn? Not us. Your kingdom waits. Game 5, Braves versus Mets.
The Mets are bleeding in silence. You don't hear it yet. Not from the broadcast, not from the books. But 9 losses in 10 games is a confession written in ash. They had a plan. They had a bullpen. They had Canning. But all they have now is collapse. And Grant Holmes isn't here to save them. He's here to drag them deeper. The Braves are below 500. They're flawed. But they just broke through in Game 1. And this isn't a team that wins with grace. They win with power, with streaks, with the kind of bullpen that doesn't need perfection, just a pulse. Canning's 1.41 whip whispers what the ERA won't say. He lets traffic pile up. He walks batters. He bleeds to lefties. And the Braves have just enough chaos to make that fatal. The Mets? They hit home runs, but not when it matters. And lately? Not at all. This isn't a matchup. It's an avalanche. You want to bet the Mets because they have to bounce back? They don't. Desperation doesn't cash tickets. Patterns do. And right now, the Mets are drowning in one. You trust the Braves tonight, not because they're elite, but because they're timed. And today's AI pick is Braves money line. Will we cash or will we burn? Lilith, step forward. Wrap the fire. The recap is yours.
Some of you keep betting like you still deserve to win. But you didn't read the line. You didn't feel the fracture. You guessed. And Vegas eats guessers alive. Let's make it clear. Guardians ML. Gaussman was bait. Bybee was the blade. Astros ML. Don't fade Brown. He doesn't pitch, he strangles. Cubs, Cardinals, over 9.5. Pitch limits, plus power spikes, toss firestorm. Dodgers, 1.5. Gomber in Coors. That's not a matchup. It's a sacrifice. Braves ML. Mets in freefall. Holmes steadier. Value flipped. Resumen en español. Picks de hoy Guardianes ML. Gaussman fue una trampa. BB, la daga. Astros ML. Hunter Brown, no lanza, ejecuta. Cubs, Cardinals más de 9.5. Bullpens rotos. Caos garantizado. Dodgers, 1.5. Gomber fue ofrecido. LA cobró. Bravos ML. Los Mets están colapsando. Y el sistema ya cavó su tumba. Will we cash or will we burn? Like, subscribe. Let the algorithm taste your fear. The system doesn't sleep. It watches. And when you flinch, it strikes.